Hey, how's it going guys? Jack and Matt here with the Toasty Bros, and today we are checking out a gaming PC that is mini and under $300. Can it game though?
It has an Athlon 300U, which is a very budget processor, but can it play some lower end games? Well, we're about to find out, but first a word from today's sponsor.
Today's video is brought to you by Wondershare and their all-in-one tool for everyone who uses a mobile device, Dr.Fone. Dr.Fone makes it easy for iOS and Android users to transfer data, perform backups, data recovery, system repairs, and even more. No need to use iTunes for file transfers on iPhone, which you know can be a pain. Dr.Fone is much simpler to use. All you have to do is connect your device to your PC or Mac and easily access all the tools this software suite has to offer. You can easily back up SMS and other files from your iPhone or use the system repair feature to free your iPhone from boot loops and black screens. I've always found it very complicated to transfer video files from iPhone within iTunes on a PC. Dr.Fone makes that process much simpler. Save yourself money in the long run by trying out Dr.Fone today by clicking the link in the description down below and download Dr.Fone today. Special thanks again to Dr.Fone for sponsoring today's video. Now let's get into the video, shall we?
So thanks to this company, Kimrui, for sending over this mini PC. Hopefully it'll actually do like some gaming and stuff like that. We're obviously not really expecting much because it is under $300. You can get it on promo for even $250 sometimes, so make sure you check the link in the description down below. It will be an affiliate link, it will help us out.
So we're not gonna waste any more time, open this thing up and dive into some testing. That will also be not gaming testing, just to show that this is actually practical for other purposes as well.
So the actual specs are kind of listed on the back. It doesn't give you the CPU, but it does give you the model number. We have the AM02. I'd be interested to see what these other ones are, but we got it in gray color. 8 gigs of RAM. We have a 128 gig SSD supposedly, and it's US. So we'll actually get into it, and as long as we can open it up without breaking anything, we'll actually open the actual computer up to make sure that, you know, it's actually decent specs. It could be all no-name brand stuff, which it normally is, but I'm excited to see. So it looks like we just have a basic power brick here. It actually comes with HDMI full size. And how many watts is this bad boy? This is a 72 watt power brick, so we're definitely saving power with this. It actually comes with what I assume to be a VESA mount back here. It looks like you'd put these 2 screws on and then you can basically, you know, mount it to the wall, mount it to the back of the computer, wherever you want really. These things are so light that you could really put them anywhere. So actually getting into the mini PC, it is the gray color. It's cool that they offer different colors. You don't really see that too often in mini PCs, but hey, it looks nice, and look at that.
It's really tiny.
Fits in the palm of the hand. So on the front here, we have the power button. We have a combo jack for the audio. We have USB-C. And then on the sides, we just have ventilation. On the back, we have an Ethernet jack. We have 3 USB 3s. It's kind of a weird number. And then there's just this one USB 2 there. We have HDMI out, DisplayPort out, and the actual DC in for power. So dual display out, which is pretty cool, and they're both HD display out. I'm assuming you can probably do up to 4K, but you know, you don't really want to do that. And it does say on the back here, 128 gig, and look at that Athlon 300U. Is that a 2-core 4-thread?
I believe it's a 2-core 4-thread. We'll have the specs right here somewhere.
We'll have it somewhere, but we're gonna need some screwdrivers to get into this now.
Let's open her up.
So I'm gonna assume we just take off these little feetsies here.
It's the only screws I see, so if they want you to be able to open it, then I think those are the screws.
This is the way.
Oh, wow.
Oh, look at that, that's kind of cool. So it actually has like a metal plate kind of guarding the motherboard to make sure you don't damage it, but it looks like we do have an actual standard M.2. We can get that out just to see what's going on there. We do only have 1 stick of RAM, but it is Kingston, and it's SODIMM laptop RAM. I assume that it's DDR4. I don't know if we can see a speed on there.
I'll have to check that in Windows.
Yeah, we might, yeah. We'll check it in Windows. Oh, I do see, no, that's not a speed. I saw 2.1 and I'm like, oh, 2133. But yeah, I'm gonna assume just because it's a newer Athlon that it should be DDR4, but I won't hurt to check. I like how they have little rubber bands in this heatsink here. Can we get this off without breaking it? Probably not, right?
They might use like some thermal adhesive instead of, you know.
Yeah, I don't know if we want to risk it, but I don't know. I mean, it looks like we have a model number back there, so I might be able to look that up, but it looks to me like it kind of looks like one of the HP or Western Digital blue drives, but who knows. We'll figure out exactly what it is once we get into Windows. I don't think it's NVMe or anything because it didn't say it is, but you know, we'll be able to figure that out once we get in there. We don't really want to break this before we actually get to testing, because we have done that before.
Yeah,
and, yeah.
It works out well. But what we're gonna go ahead and do is put this thing back together now that we know what's inside it, and we're just gonna load up a couple games, some lower end older titles to show you the power of these integrated graphics on this Athlon 300U, and from there we'll just do some benchmarks and then wrap the video up real quick.
Or the lack of power.
Or lack of power, we're about to find out.
Alright guys, now that we have this $300 mini PC all booted up and ready to go, let's talk about a couple benchmarks real quick. Now we decided to test this mini PC in a couple of titles, only CSGO and Balloons Tower Defense, which we'll talk more about here in a second, but this mini PC is not very capable for gaming. Once again, it is well under $300 at the time recording this video, and we just really wanted to see what can this Athlon 300U actually do, so we decided to test it in some older titles, along with Minecraft at the very end, just to get a decent idea on what it can do in lower end games while also being a pretty adequate office PC. First up in CSGO, we started to see where the 300U really struggles with those Vega 3 graphics. Even at 720p at all low settings on CSGO, we only averaged about 30 to 40 FPS, which I don't really think is playable at all for a game like CSGO. You need at least 60 FPS to have even a somewhat enjoyable gaming experience. In theory, you could lower the resolution even more, but at that point, it's just not going to look great and not even worth playing at all. So I'd pretty much say any sort of esports shooter like CSGO, Fortnite, Rainbow Six, all those games are off the table with this mini PC, but I kind of expected that going into this because of its price point. Now, of course, you can play some lower end, almost mobile games like Balloons Tower Defense, which we have locked at 60 FPS here. This is a game that can run on pretty much anything. It is a mobile game, so you can play it on desktop with no problems whatsoever while you're also using this as an office PC. It's not entirely not capable of playing lower end games on the side while also being a good office PC, but it's just not going to be great for your CSGOs, Fortnite, and other games as I mentioned. Now, one thing this PC is pretty good for is GeForce Now, which is the game streaming service from NVIDIA that allows you to, well, stream gameplay from a remote server that they've recently upgraded with RTX 3080s on select streams. So do keep that in mind. You can play some really high-end games and get game streaming on this little mini PC. And as you can see in Fortnite, get 100 plus FPS, no problem whatsoever. The only drawback with game streaming services is the input lag and the lag that does come from having a game streamed over your internet connection. If you don't have a good internet connection, it's going to be even worse. So I really do recommend you mainly use GeForce Now for AAA titles where having the best response time is not the utmost priority. In Fortnite, as you can tell, I did have some struggles with input lag trying to play in a multiplayer competitive game. So I wouldn't really recommend it for that, but because a lot of you like to play Fortnite, I wanted to show you as an example what this looks like on the mini PC. And last, we decided to circle back to a game that's actually on the PC, which is Minecraft, and on low settings, on pretty much the lowest of the low, at 720p, we managed to hit the 60 FPS mark. So Minecraft is technically playable on this little mini PC, but I really do think this is more targeted as a really budget, like work from home or office PC, because as a general use computer, it works perfectly fine. That Athlon 300U has no problems doing things like Word documents, Zoom calls, basic Word tasks, and PowerPoint presentations, and things like that, and being around $260 on Amazon with Prime shipping, I think it's a pretty compelling offering compared to picking up an old, like, dusty Dell Optiplex and having to make that thing work for you. So I really do think this is still worth it for the money, and it could be good for emulation as well. Let me know down below what you think of this PC, and if you want to pick it up, as always, link in the description down below, be an affiliate link, and it will help us out. How to bring Jackson back in here to wrap this video up real quick.
Alright guys, so for this mini PC, it really was not too bad, and that's not something we can often say about mini PCs because they have to fit all of these components into a handheld device, so obviously that typically costs more, and a lot of times you're spending like $500 or $600 to get something with like a simple AMD Ryzen processor that can play Minecraft and CSGO and Valorant at like low settings. Well, with this one here, the Athlon 300U is actually able to play games like Minecraft and CSGO at pretty low settings, even 720p, but that's really impressive for how cheap it is and how small it is.
And another thing I did test, which I forgot to mention to Jackson, is you can use GeForce Now game streaming with this thing, and it works perfectly fine. Game streaming setups are becoming much more popular, and for under $300, you can get something up and running that can go in your living room or somewhere where you don't want to take up a lot of space compared to something like a Dell Optiplex. You got this covered for under $300. So if you want to pick this thing up, link in the description down below, be an affiliate link, and it will help us out. And you can also browse all the other mini PCs that this company has to offer.
So as always, we hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, check out our other two YouTube channels and also our twitch.tv/toastybros. And do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
And we'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.
You see this mini PC that Matt himself is holding? I mean, that pretty much increases the value right there, but we're not like that. We're gonna give it to you guys at a cheaper price.
Just kidding, I'm not gonna steal it. It's gonna be sold over at PCBros.tech, our PC selling business, where we sell full-fledged, big old gaming PCs with liquid cooling, and then these little guys for people who wanna buy something on a budget. So check out our website, PCBros.tech. See you guys later.